Rain hammered the windows of Blackwood High like hundreds of fingernails scratching to get inside. The old school stood alone at the edge of town, surrounded by dead trees and rusted fences. During the day it looked abandoned, even though students still studied there. But at night, people in the town swore the building changed. Lights appeared in empty classrooms. Footsteps echoed through locked hallways. And sometimes, if someone stood near the third-floor science wing after midnight, they could hear children screaming behind the walls. Most people called those stories stupid urban legends. Ethan Cole used to think the same thing. Until the night his best friend disappeared inside the school. "Bro, stop acting scared," Mason laughed as he pushed open the school's side gate. "It's just a building." "It's a building where 3 students died," Ethan muttered. According to old Facebook posts. The rain soaked through Ethan's hoodie as he looked up at Blackwood High. Lightning flashed behind the giant structure, illuminating cracked windows and black stains crawling down the bricks like veins. There were 4 of them that night. Ethan, Mason, Lily, and Noah. Typical stupid teenage idea. Sneak into the haunted school. Record a video. Upload it online. Get famous. At least that was Mason's plan. "You brought the camera?" Noah asked. Mason held up a small camcorder, battery full. Lily crossed her arms nervously. "I still don't understand why we couldn't do this during the day." "Because ghosts don't work office hours," Mason said. Nobody laughed. The school looked wrong tonight. Too dark. Too quiet. Even the rain sounded distant near the building. Ethan noticed something strange immediately. The front clock tower showed 12:07. But the clock hands weren't moving. The side entrance creaked open with almost no effort. "That's comforting," Lily whispered. A foul smell drifted out. Wet wood, mold, and something metallic underneath. Like blood. The hallway beyond was swallowed in darkness. Their flashlight beams revealed peeling paint, dusty lockers, and faded banners hanging from the ceiling. "Welcome back, students." But the letters were stained brown. Noah shivered. "Why does it feel warm in here?" He was right. Despite the storm outside, the school felt strangely hot. Sweat rolled down Ethan's neck. Somewhere deep inside the building, a bell rang. Loud. All 4 of them froze. "That wasn't thunder," Lily whispered. The bell echoed through the halls for nearly 10 seconds before dying. Mason forced a laugh. "Probably old pipes." "Pipes don't sound like school bells." "Then maybe the ghost wants education." Again, nobody laughed. They moved deeper into the building. The flashlight beams bounced across old classroom doors. Most rooms were empty except for broken desks and rotting textbooks. But one classroom stopped Ethan cold. Room 214. Every desk inside was perfectly arranged. Like class had just ended. Dust covered everything except the desks. and written across the chalkboard in fresh white chalk were the words, "Stay after class." "What the hell?" Noah whispered. Mason immediately lifted the camera. "This is perfect." "Don't touch anything," Ethan said. Too late. Mason pushed open the classroom door. The second he stepped inside, every locker in the hallway slammed shut at once. Bang! 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 Lily screamed. Noah stumbled backward. The hallway exploded with noise as hundreds of metal locker doors slammed over and over like invisible students were running through the corridor. Mason ran out of the classroom instantly. What the hell was that? Then everything stopped. Silence. Complete silence. Ethan's breathing sounded painfully loud. And then, from somewhere upstairs, a girl laughed. Soft. Childlike. But wrong. Like her throat was filled with water. "Nope," Noah said immediately, "we're leaving." "Agreed," Lily whispered. But Mason stared upward with wide, excited eyes. "This is gold." "You're insane," Ethan snapped. "Did you hear that? This video could blow up online." Another sound interrupted them. Footsteps. Slow footsteps above their heads. Walking directly across the ceiling. Step. 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 Everyone looked up. The footsteps stopped. Then sprinted. Something raced across the third floor impossibly fast. A loud crash followed. Glass shattered. Then silence returned. Mason grinned nervously. "Okay, that one got me." Lightning flashed outside. For a split second Ethan saw movement at the far end of the hallway. A student standing there. Tall. Still. Wearing an old Blackwood High uniform. The figure's head tilted unnaturally sideways. Then darkness swallowed it again. "Did you guys see that?" Noah nodded immediately. Lily looked close to tears. But Mason whispered, "Camera didn't catch it." "Good," Ethan said, "now let's leave." Then the school bell rang again. This time much closer. And every classroom door in the hallway slowly creaked open by itself. The air temperature dropped instantly. Their breaths became visible. One by one. Desks inside the classrooms began scraping across floors. Beep! The sound echoed everywhere. Like dozens of invisible students pulling out chairs at the same time. Then came the whispers. Hundreds of whispers. All around them. Too many voices to understand. Lily covered her ears. "Make it stop." Ethan's heart hammered violently. Something was terribly wrong with this place. Not fake wrong. Not creepy video wrong. Actually wrong. Like the building itself was alive. Mason finally looked scared. "Okay. We should go." They turned toward the exit. But the hallway had changed. The side door was gone. In its place stood a long dark corridor none of them had seen before. "No," Noah whispered. "That wasn't there," Ethan said. The lights overhead flickered weakly. At the end of the new hallway sat a single red exit sign. "That has to be it," Mason said. But Ethan didn't move. Something about the corridor felt wrong. The walls seemed too narrow, too long, and the whispers were louder there, as if something wanted them to walk forward. "We don't have another choice," Lily said shakily. So they walked. Slowly. Carefully. Their footsteps echoed endlessly. The hallway stretched farther than it should have. No matter how long they walked, the exit sign never got closer. And then Ethan noticed the lockers. Names were carved into them. Hundreds of names. Students. Some scratched deeply into the metal. Others written like desperate graffiti. "Help me. Don't sleep here. He watches." Noah stopped suddenly. "What's that smell?" The metallic scent returned stronger now. Blood. Ethan's flashlight drifted downward. Wet footprints covered the floor ahead. Bare human footprints. Fresh. Leading toward the darkness. Then they heard crying. A child crying softly nearby. Lily whispered, "Someone's here." The crying came from inside a classroom to their left. Room 301. The door stood slightly open. Ethan slowly pushed it wider. The classroom was empty, except for one student sitting alone in the back row. A little girl, maybe 12 years old. Long black hair covered her face. She wore an old school uniform stained dark around the chest. "Hey," Ethan said carefully, "are you okay?" The girl didn't respond. She continued crying quietly. Mason whispered, "This has to be a prank." Then the girl spoke. Without lifting her head. "He killed us." Everyone froze. Her voice sounded wet. Broken. Like she was speaking underwater. "Who killed you?" Lily whispered. The girl slowly raised one trembling finger and pointed behind them. Ethan turned instantly. The hallway outside was empty. But when he looked back, the girl was gone. Every desk in the classroom suddenly slammed upside down. The lights exploded. Darkness swallowed everything. And the classroom door shut violently. Lily screamed. Someone pounded against the walls from inside. Bang! 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 Children screamed all around them. The flashlight beams shook wildly as Ethan grabbed the door handle. It wouldn't move. Something inside the room scratched furiously against the wood. Then silence. Complete silence. And slowly, Written across the door in dripping red letters appeared the words, "Detention forever." They ran. Nobody spoke. Nobody stopped. The hallway seemed endless as their footsteps echoed through darkness. The whispers chased them, sometimes sounding close, sometimes far away. Then Noah suddenly stopped. "Wait!" The others turned. Noah pointed ahead with trembling hands. The corridor ended abruptly at a brick wall. "No, no, no, no!" There was an exit sign, Mason shouted. But the sign was gone now. Only brick. Cold, wet brick. Lily started crying quietly. "We're trapped." Then the intercom crackled overhead. Static filled the hallway. A deep, distorted voice growled through the speakers. "Students, return to class." The speakers screamed with feedback. Then silence. A second later, the footsteps returned. Heavy footsteps. Not like a child this time. Something large. Walking slowly toward them from deep within the darkness. Thud. 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 Ethan aimed the flashlight down the hall. At first he saw nothing. Then the beam caught movement. A man. Very tall. Wearing a filthy teacher's suit. His face was hidden in shadow. But his neck bent too far to one side, as if it had once been broken. He dragged one foot behind him with every step. Thud. Scray. Thud. Scray. Mason whispered, "Run." The figure stopped moving. Then its head snapped upward unnaturally fast. The flashlight illuminated its face. Or what was left of it. Skin hung loose from the jaw. Its eyes were completely black. And its mouth stretched open far wider than humanly possible. The thing smiled. Then sprinted toward them. Chaos exploded instantly. They ran screaming through the hallway as the creature charged after them with impossible speed. The sound of dragging feet echoed directly behind Ethan. Thud scrape. Thud scrape. Thud scrape. Lily tripped. Ethan grabbed her arm and pulled her up. "Move." The lights overhead burst one by one as the creature raced beneath them. Pop! 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 Darkness swallowed the corridor behind them. Noah screamed, "This way!" A stairwell appeared ahead. They crashed through the doors and stumbled upward 2 steps at a time. The creature hit the stairwell below seconds later. Its scream echoed upward like metal scraping against metal. Ethan looked down once. Huge mistake. The thing climbed unnaturally fast on all fours. Its limbs bent backward like a spider. Its mouth hung open impossibly wide. Black liquid poured from its eyes. Go, go, go! They slammed through the third-floor doors. The hallway beyond looked newer somehow. Cleaner. The lights worked here. But the silence felt worse. The walls were covered with old student photos. Hundreds of smiling faces. And every single student had scratched out eyes. Noah leaned against a locker gasping for air. What I asked that thing? Nobody answered. Because deep down, they already knew. Ghost. Monster. Demon. Whatever it wasn't human anymore. Mason shakily checked the camcorder. It recorded everything. Then the screen glitched violently. Static filled the display. And a face appeared briefly. A girl with stitched lips staring directly into the camera. Mason dropped it instantly. The camcorder hit the floor. But instead of breaking, it continued playing. Now the screen showed footage of them standing in the hallway. Except the footage wasn't live. It showed them from behind. Like someone else was filming them right now. Lily backed away slowly. Who's holding the camera? Then in the camcorder footage, a tall shadow appeared behind Noah. Ethan looked up immediately. Nothing there. But on the camera screen, the shadow leaned closer to Noah's ear and whispered something. Noah suddenly froze. His expression changed instantly. Blank. Empty. Noah? Ethan asked carefully. Noah slowly turned around. His eyes were completely black. Before anyone could react, he grabbed Lily violently and slammed her into the lockers. Mason shouted, "What the hell?" Noah's voice sounded distorted. He wants another student. Then the hallway lights went out. Screaming erupted in darkness. Flashlights shook wildly. Ethan heard Lily crying. Metal lockers slammed repeatedly. Then a wet crunch echoed nearby. Mason screamed in terror. The lights flickered back on. Noah was gone. So was Lily. Blood covered the lockers. And Mason stood frozen beside them. What happened? Ethan shouted. Mason pointed with trembling hands. Down the hallway. A trail of blood led into the darkness. Noah, Mason whispered. He dragged her away. Ethan's chest tightened. We have to find her. Are you insane? She's still alive. Mason shook violently. No, man. No. This place isn't normal. A loud school bell rang again. Then came children's laughter. Every classroom door on the third floor slowly opened at once. Inside each room sat shadowy figures at desks. Students. Completely still. Watching them. One figure raised its hand slowly, like asking permission to speak. Then all the shadow students stood up together and began walking into the hallway. Run! Ethan and Mason sprinted. The shadow students moved unnaturally fast behind them. Dozens of footsteps echoed everywhere. The hallway twisted strangely as they ran. Doors appeared where walls should be. Hallways stretched impossibly long. The school was changing around them. Then Ethan heard Lily scream somewhere nearby. "This way!" They burst through double doors into the old gymnasium. The massive room was dark except for emergency lights glowing red overhead. Basketballs rolled slowly across the floor by themselves. The scoreboard flickered strangely. Home, 0. Guest, 13. A thick smell of rot filled the gym. And at center court, Lily sat tied to a chair, her mouth covered with tape. MMPH. MMPH. Ethan ran toward her. Mason grabbed his arm. "Wait." Too late. The gym doors slammed shut behind them. Chains wrapped around the handles instantly. Loudly. Violently. Clang. The scoreboard changed. Home, 0. Guest, 12. "What does that mean?" Mason whispered. Then something moved in the bleachers above. Dozens of figures sitting silently in darkness. Students. Teachers. All staring downward. Their eyes glowing faintly. The intercom crackled again. "Detention begins." A whistle blew sharply, and the creatures rushed from the bleachers. The gym exploded into chaos. Ethan ripped the tape from Lily's mouth. "We need to go now." "They killed Noah," she screamed. The creatures sprinted across the gym floor unnaturally fast. Limbs snapping. Bodies twitching. Faces twisted into horrible smiles. Mason grabbed a metal chair and swung wildly at the first creature. Crack. Its neck twisted backward completely. But it kept moving. The scoreboard flickered again. Guest, 11. "They're counting down," Lily whispered. Ethan spotted a maintenance door near the far wall. There. They ran as the creatures chased them. Hands clawed at Ethan's hoodie. One grabbed Mason's leg. Mason screamed and kicked wildly before breaking free. The maintenance hallway beyond was pitch black. They slammed the door behind them. The creatures pounded violently from the other side. Bang! 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 Then silence. Only breathing remained. 3 people now. Noah was gone. And deep down, Ethan knew they would never see him again. The hallway smelled damp and rotten. Water dripped somewhere nearby. Mason leaned against the wall, shaking uncontrollably. "We're going to die here." "No," Ethan said immediately. But his voice lacked confidence. Lily noticed something ahead. "Look." A faint light glowed beneath a door. Room B, 19. The basement. Ethan slowly pushed the door open. Inside sat an old office filled with dusty filing cabinets. A single desk lamp glowed weakly. And sitting at the desk was an old man, the school janitor. At least he looked human. For now. You shouldn't be here, he said quietly. Mason nearly collapsed in relief. Thank God. The old man raised tired eyes toward them. No. God abandoned this place years ago. The principal made deals with it. Sacrifices. Students no one would miss. Mason whispered, "You're lying." The old man looked directly at him. I watched them drag children into the basement. Silence. Then, a loud knock echoed from outside the office. 3 slow knocks. Knock. 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 The janitor's face turned pale instantly. He found you. Who? The old man whispered only 2 words. The headmaster. The knocking came again. Harder now. Knock. 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 The office door handle slowly turned. The janitor hurried toward a bookshelf. There's a tunnel behind this wall. Go now. What about you? Ethan asked. The old man smiled sadly. I've been trapped here a long time. The bookshelf moved aside, revealing a narrow concrete tunnel. Lily crawled inside first. Mason followed quickly. Ethan hesitated. The office door burst inward. The tall creature from earlier stood there smiling. Its black eyes locked onto Ethan instantly. The headmaster. The janitor shoved Ethan into the tunnel. Run! The bookshelf slammed shut behind him. And seconds later, the screaming began. The janitor screamed in absolute agony, then abruptly stopped. The tunnel felt endless, claustrophobic. Dirt walls pressed tightly around them. Behind them, something crawled through the darkness. Fast. Too fast. Ethan pushed forward desperately. The tunnel finally opened into a massive underground chamber beneath the school. And what they saw there nearly broke their minds. Hundreds of desks filled the chamber, each occupied by human skeletons wearing old school uniforms. Children, still sitting perfectly upright. At the front of the chamber stood a giant black door covered in strange symbols. And carved above it were the words, "Final classroom." The temperature dropped instantly. Mason whispered, "Oh my God." Then they heard Noah's voice. "Help me." He stood near the black door, covered in blood, his face pale. "Please." Lily started toward him. Ethan grabbed her immediately. Something was wrong. Very wrong. "Noah," Ethan called carefully, "come here." Noah smiled slowly. His jaw cracked wider. Too wide. Black liquid spilled from his mouth. "You should stay for class." The black door behind him began opening by itself. And from the darkness inside, something massive moved. Breathing heavily. Waiting. The entire chamber trembled. Desks rattled violently. The skeletons turned their heads toward Ethan simultaneously. Bones cracking loudly. Mason screamed. Noah's body twisted unnaturally as invisible hands pulled him backward into the darkness behind the black door. Then came his scream. A scream so horrifying Ethan would remember it forever. It ended suddenly with a wet crunch. The door slammed shut. And silence returned. Except for breathing. Deep breathing. From behind the door, Lily cried quietly. Mason looked broken. Ethan realized something terrifying. The scoreboard countdown. 13 students died. Now only 3 remained. They were finishing the class. The intercom echoed through the underground chamber. Final attendance. One skeleton slowly raised its arm. Then another. Then all of them. Hundreds of dead students lifting their hands silently. The black door began opening again. And this time, something stepped through. Tall. Massive. Wearing the remains of a principal's uniform fused into burned flesh. Its face looked melted. But its smile stretched impossibly wide. The headmaster. And behind him, dozens of shadow students crawled from the darkness. "Run!" Ethan shouted. They sprinted through the chamber as creatures flooded behind them. Skeletons rose from desks. Bones snapping loudly. Hands reaching. The tunnel ahead collapsed partially as the building shook violently. Mason stopped suddenly. "I can hold them off." "What?" "They only need 13. Mason looked terrified but determined. "If one stays behind." "No." Mason shoved Ethan toward the tunnel. "Get her out." Then he grabbed a broken desk leg and charged the creatures screaming. Ethan dragged Lily into the tunnel as chaos erupted behind them. Mason's screams echoed through the darkness. Then silence. The tunnel shook violently around them. Dust fell from the ceiling. The school was collapsing. They crawled desperately toward faint moonlight ahead. Behind them, The headmaster crawled through the tunnel walls impossibly fast. Its burned face stretched closer, smiling. "Students cannot leave," Lily screamed. Ethan pushed harder. The tunnel exit appeared ahead, just feet away. The creature lunged. Its claws grabbed Ethan's ankle. Pain exploded through his leg. Ethan kicked wildly. The headmaster's black eyes locked onto his. "You belong to the school now." Then Lily grabbed a rusted pipe beside the tunnel exit and slammed it into the creature's face. Again. 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 The headmaster shrieked. Ethan pulled free instantly. Both of them crawled out of the tunnel seconds before it collapsed completely. The ground caved inward behind them. And suddenly, everything became silent. Rain poured from the night sky. Blackwood High stood motionless behind them. Dark. Empty. Like nothing had happened. Police found Ethan and Lily wandering near the highway hours later, both covered in blood. Neither able to explain clearly what happened. The official story claimed Noah and Mason disappeared during an illegal break-in. Bodies never found. The school closed permanently after that night. Demolition crews refused to enter after workers reported hearing voices inside empty classrooms. Months passed. Ethan tried moving on. Tried forgetting. But some nights, he woke up hearing school bells. Sometimes his bedroom smelled like smoke and blood. And once, at exactly 12:07 a.m., his phone rang. Unknown number. When he answered, he heard only static. Then a deep, distorted voice whispered, "Class starts soon." The line disconnected. Ethan looked toward his bedroom window slowly. Across the street, a tall figure stood motionless beneath the rain, wearing a burned principal's uniform, smiling, waiting. And behind him, dozens of student shadows stared silently at Ethan's house. The school never let its students leave.